Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to another Tribe Forex Power Hour. I am Marcello, and with me is Nino FX Trader. And basically, what we do here, we're basically a community of traders, and what we do here is we are going to do a daily market analysis, which is going to give us our bias, and our bias is what is going to impact our trading session for the next day. By the way, today is January 16th for us, 2014, and we're going to be moving into January 17th, 2014 for that trading session. So we're doing our daily analysis of the January 16th day, prepping for the January 17th trading session. Okay, having said that, what are we going to cover today? How all of this works. We're going to do a daily market analysis, and then there's going to be a brief questions and answers session, which will take place off camera if you are listening to this recording. All right, so let's get started here. How does it work? Basically, we do the bias. We figure out what direction the market is most likely to go in, the probability of the market a buy being successful or a sell being successful, and that's the direction that we take our trades in. So this is basically a Tribe Forex performance curve, and you can see here that this is based upon our biases up to a couple months ago, and I'm actually going to show you the up-to-date results here. And you can see here that it gives us a profit factor of 3.43. That means that for every dollar that we risk, there's $3.43 that were made, and the total percent profitable is 83.5% at this juncture. We've actually surpassed that as of late, and I'm going to show that to you now. I wasn't prepared to do that, but I'm going to do that anyway. And so basically what you're looking at is our TradeStation version of this. And what you're going to see is our equity curve here, and this is actually the Aussie dollar. This is not the euro dollar that we were looking at earlier, and you can see from 116.2011 to 116.2014 what it's done. And you can see that it actually has a 90% win ratio, as you can see here below, 91.46%. All right, having said that, let's turn our attention back to our daily market analysis. So that's what we do. That's what we're able to do, and what we have been able to do over the long term in Tribe Forex. And I'm going to give you basically a window into how we do what we do. So let's go ahead and take a look at the charts. Let's see what's going on in the markets. We're going to start with the euro dollar and make our way through. And looking at the euro dollar here, we actually had a sell bias on the day, and there was a good opportunity for a sell. If you're a member of Tribe Forex, you can go into the Tribe Forex live room group, and you will be able to see the video that Nino prepared, which shows trading according to looking for a sell bias on that particular day, and it was profitable for him there. So I'm going to maximize this. And so here's what we can see. All right. So basically we've had a sell bias. If you look at this upper trend line here, that forms our resistance area, and I'm looking at the daily chart here, guys. And this is not a daily based trend line. This is actually a weekly trend line. So if I go back all the way to 2009, I believe it was, 2008, that's the beginning of that trend line until where we are today, which is 2014, January 2014. You can see that we had a big reversal candle on the weekly chart right off of that reversal right off of that resistance area. It's a beautiful reversal candle, beautiful sell-off on the day, and you can see here that we actually had a very nice bounce right off of that lower trend line, which forms our support. And we've actually already had a bounce off of that lower trend line as well again. And we've actually had a push down into that. And honestly, guys, this lower trend line, the trend line or the support area that we have, that's lower here. So we actually have an upper support area and a lower support area. This lower support area is actually much stronger, and we're going to look for that to take precedence at some point. Now, if this support area, the upper support area continues to dominate. We very well could see a nice breakout of this apex because we are in the apex of that smaller pennant. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. We may actually see that breakout into the lower section here where we are, and we'd be looking for about 134.50, 13400, 134.50 to be our next area of support, and below that would be our 129.50 area. So we'll wait and see what happens here, but certainly we are sitting right on that upper support trend line. Okay, so what does that mean for us? Looking at the daily here, we've had a sell bias this entire time. Okay, so we can expect more likely than not that price is going to come back again, and you can see that we've had multiple tests now that we're down here on the euro dollar daily chart. You can see that we had a test on January 8th, another test on January 9th, a test again on January 10th, here again on January 15th and the 16th, and starting the 17th, we're actually looking for potentially another test here at 1.3596. Okay, if we get that test at 135.96 and we have a rejection of price on a lower time frame, you can look for price to begin to move up potentially on the euro dollar. Okay, but we can also see, because we are in the apex, we could actually see price continue to move down. Now, because we had such a huge rejection of the upper limits of price here above 139.00, we were expecting for there to be a sell-off. We got that sell-off. We saw price drop. Okay, what's going to happen from here? We could actually, we're at a point of decision is what we like to call them. It's our pod, and what we're looking for is for price to react at that trend line. It's going to react violently in one of these instances, more likely than not, Friday, or I would say the next trading session that we have after Sunday night for us, and Monday morning for the Asian market. What we're expecting to see there is we're going to probably see price drop here and drop through that area, or we're going to see a big rebound in price, which gives us a clear direction. Right now it's ambiguous because we're sitting at this area. More likely than not, as I said yesterday, and I was correct about that, we were going to have a drop down to the support area, and we're going to have a test of it, and that's specifically what we saw there. So the euro dollar is kind of unclear now because we're sitting at the support area. If we get a retest, we may actually see a break of the support area that we are sitting at right now where my cursor is. Okay, and that's right at 135.96. So if we get a break below that, and we may have a big solid movement lower on the euro dollar. Okay, having said that, let's take a look at our pound dollar. So pound dollar, again, we had a sell bias yesterday. As you can see here, we did have a sell-off. We had an open at 63.69, 1.6369. Price dropped to 163.14. That's a 55 pip drop, and there's plenty of profit there to be had. And what happened is it bounced right off of our 50 EMA here, and that 50 EMA has actually held very well. And you can see price bounce right off of it. So there's an acknowledgement of the market of that 50 EMA. That will be our support area going forward. We've already had a test here. And so once again, this could be considered to be a reversal candle. It's not exactly a strong buy reversal candle by any means, but we could actually see price move up here and maybe retest this trend line going forward. So I would either put this as ambiguous, not very clear. I wouldn't do an awful lot of trading in this next session coming up on this particular currency pair because it's not extremely clear, but we could see a retest at the high here. If I had to say anything, I would probably call it potential for a buy off of this pound dollar moving to the upside. All right, New Zealand. Now, New Zealand, this is very clear for us. So New Zealand, we also had a sell bias, and as you can see here, we did get our sell-off, and it was a good opportunity. So if you sold the New Zealand, you can see here the total length of this, 27, 35, 62 pips, and of that, about 35 or 36 of those pips, the majority of those pips, came from a sell-off. There was a rejection of the lows here at basically 0.8300. All right, went down to 0.8295, bounced right off that low, and really gave us a very strong reversal candle back to the top here, which is really our area of resistance that we're looking at here. So we can actually see price potentially move up to that secondary resistance area, and so that's probably what we're going to look for on the New Zealand dollar over the next few days. If we do have a confirmation of that, there could be an opportunity for a trade. This one's clear cut, beautiful reversal candle here on the New Zealand dollar here. So we're going to look for opportunities for a buy here. Look for price to react here at 83.74, and we're more likely than not, the probability is that we'll see a bounce and a continuation up. Now, when you get to areas of support and resistance, it's very difficult to be extremely certain about it, because in most instances, when it comes to a breakout, in most instances, breakouts only occur 10% of the time in the markets, believe it or not. Trends, they continue. They happen 20 to 30% of the time, and the rest of the time is just a consolidation. So what we're expecting for is 60 to 70% of the time for price to stay within these confines. But this is a very clear cut. It seems like there's a very strong buy reversal candle here, which we could see price continue to move up here on the New Zealand dollar. All right, continuing on, Aussie dollar, we had a sell bias, and we were right on as far as that sell bias was concerned on the Aussie dollar. You can see here that there's a big drop on the Aussie dollar, and that was our strongest sell, just because the Aussie has continued to move down. If you want to see my analysis from yesterday that was pretty much right on, you can simply go to the website, and you can find it on tribeforex.com, and just look back at the date, either in our video channel section, or simply just scroll down on our, and you'll see it on my page from Marcello there on Tribe Forex. Okay, so 147 pips, 150 pips drop here that we had on the Aussie dollar. That was a nice move, especially for the Aussie, which generally has a range of 80 pips at most, to be honest with you, and we've had this big move down, really a nice clean break from that support area that we had at 88.50. But here's where we have ambiguity. So previously we had lows at 88.19, 88.21, and you can see here that we've had a close at 88.18. So they're all in that same area. It could have been a test of a lower area that we haven't truly broken through yet. I would feel more sure of a sell if I had a close that was below that support area that's formed secondarily by the lows of those previous 2 days on the Aussie dollar. Nevertheless, we've got to look for a sell here until we see a buy. So we could see a reversal candle here. We could see what I would like to call a railroad track formation, which would be a big green bar moving to the upside, and that will give us an opportunity to get back inside of this channel and move forward. So it's kind of ambiguous here as well. For me personally, the only trade that I clearly see is the New Zealand. The New Zealand is very clear. That's probably a higher probability. It's a very clear signal there. The Aussie dollar, although just based upon what we're looking at, is kind of ambiguous. In saying that, I mean that we do have a break below a very key support area, but there wasn't a close below that key support area, and so we're still pretty much inside that consolidation until we see a clean break there, or at least a retest of this area, followed by a very violent move off of it by price from the 88.50 area downward. So we could see price retest this 88.50 area, which we're pretty close to it, about 36 pips away, and then continue to sell off. So for the time being, you've got to consider that it's a sell if you're going to take anything on this Aussie, because all it's done is move downward here. But it is ambiguous in that way, and so that would not be my favorite trade to take. I would probably take a trade on it, but I'd take a smaller trade on it. It's not as clear cut as, say, the New Zealand is. Okay, the euro yen. Euro yen, guys, basically on the euro yen, pound yen, and the dollar yen, we had biases for the last couple of days. We had beautiful railroad track formation, and then here you see that price did give us a nice move up and a close upward. Now, just because we have a close down doesn't mean that there wasn't profitability that could have been had here. You can see here that price did move up about 35 pips and then moved down about 35 pips. So it's really on the dollar yen. So there was price did make an attempt to move up and then went ahead and closed down about 15 pips or so. And we see the same thing on the pound yen, and we see the very same thing on the euro yen. Okay, so all three currency pairs basically made an attempt to go to the highs and came off those highs. So the yen pairs definitely showing us just a bit of vacillation there, not really going in any clear direction as far as we can see. But that railroad tracks formation definitely dominates, and we'll have to wait and see what the market's going to do from here. I mean, honestly, this Friday trading is not looking very clear from where I'm sitting. Now, we did not approach the dollar Swiss, and we should have approached the dollar Swiss, so I'm going to do that in our last sessions. We did not approach the dollar Swiss in our last session, so let's go ahead and do that now. All right, so I'm on the weekly chart on the dollar Swiss. And you can see here that we had a reversal candle here, so you'd expect price to move down. Didn't exactly move down here on the dollar Swiss. And so what we're looking for most likely here on the dollar Swiss, we had adverse movement, if you will. We had price moving up here during this week when we expected it to sell off based upon the reversal candle that we see here on the dollar Swiss. But this candle that is formed still has not broken the high of that dollar Swiss reversal formation pattern there. All right, so there's a chance still for the sell-off on the dollar Swiss. That would mean that we would have a weakness in the dollar, strength in the Swiss franc, and that's what we would expect as far as that currency pair is concerned. Now I'm looking for areas of support and resistance which we have not had. They're not clear for us. I'm going to go to the weekly and see if I see something. Going to the monthly, I should say. Okay, looking at the dollar Swiss monthly, you can clearly see that we've been in a downtrend. We didn't need to look at the moving averages to know that. We've been in a downtrend here on the dollar Swiss. And so basically what we're doing is we're waiting for some form of a break. Right now we're in a consolidation here on the dollar Swiss. So we could see some up movement back into consolidation to the extreme of the consolidation and then a push down looking at the monthly here. And you can see the same thing. You can see that consolidation here on the dollar Swiss on the weekly chart. And, actually showing us signs of a sell, wanting a sell on the daily here. So we have that reversal on the weekly, that beautiful hammer formation on the weekly that has not yet activated, if you will. We haven't had a positive excursion as far as that's concerned. But we do have a railroad tracks formation here on the dollar Swiss that may actually activate, and we can actually see some manifestation of or some acknowledgement of the market of that railroad tracks formation toward the sell side. So we may actually see that on the dollar Swiss. That's the best I can say about that. A bit ambiguous, but yes, it does seem like there could be a sell on that. So the two strongest currency pairs that I see doing my analysis here would be the dollar Swiss for a sell, New Zealand dollar for a buy at some point today. So be looking out for those. Honestly, the euro dollar, we could very well see a bounce off of this trend line here at 136.11 or 13600 in that vicinity, and we could see a price move up, because unless we have new information that's going to cause a breakout here on the euro dollar this Friday for the January 17th session, I don't really see a tremendous amount of movement coming out of the euro dollar right now. But we'll see what happens. We could have a bounce, move back into the consolidation, and that would also signify that we could see a sell in the dollar Swiss. So I'm looking for that, and also in the New Zealand. The Aussie dollar, as I said before, beautiful breakout. That was a great opportunity. Whoever got to take that with us, you know, you did well as far as that Aussie dollar is concerned. But it could easily move back into a buy and move back into the consolidation here on just for the time being, for the next day or two. So that's what we're going to look for, and that is our Tribe Forex market analysis. All right, we're going to be answering some questions thereafter, but let me tell you what's going to happen. Basically, Nino, Pro FX Trader, basically did his live trade room last night. They made money. If you want to know more about his trade, come to tribeforex.com. Come to see us at tribeforex.com. When you log in, verify your email so we don't get spam. You are going to be able to go. There's a tab at the top that says Live Trade Room. You'll go into that tab and you will see his latest trade of the last trading session. And thereafter, you'll be able to join him live in those trading sessions. So we're recording everything, recording the daily analysis, recording the trades that we have, and you know, it doesn't get any better than that. So guys, we look forward to seeing you next week. Friday could be a non-event. I don't know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen with the market. The probability, though, is that we may have some good movement. It may have some good movement on the New Zealand. We have a clear signal on the New Zealand, and we may actually see a bit of a sell here on the dollar Swiss as well, potentially. As I said there's ambiguity in some of the other pairs, especially the yen for the time being. We may see some more movement moving into our Monday session. So be looking for that, and join us if you can, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, right here at tribeforex.com. All the best.